What's happening, fam? LAR movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail, understand it. You need to get active. Texas mandate kind of down, mandate down, right? But people have gained weight during this year and some change or whatever. People have got sicker. Some people have taken the vaccine and then killed over, or. And I thought about it like, what I recently started seeing was people get on parents with children on bikes and scooters, and I see more and more people making their way to the gym. Go to the park. You see people walking, jogging, riding a bike, but the vast majority of those people are already in shape, and that's their lifestyle. But I start slowly seeing people, from the beginning of the pandemic. I used to see a lot of quote unquote overweight women. That was like their prime time to get themselves back in shape. I haven't seen that in a while, but I thought about it like, you need to get active. A lot of us don't want to take into consideration that we're not as mobile as we used to be. And I was laughing about it because as you get older, you want to do things that are low impact, walking, riding a bike instead of running and jogging. And the thing about it is that you need some intensity to get more energy, to feel, and sometimes look younger. Same thing with lifting weights. Some people, may do calisthenics, but they're not intense, or they may do cardio, but it's not intense. And I've seen the people who, the ladies do the dance classes, kind of like aerobics, a version of aerobics. But ultimately, if you want results, you're going to have to get active. And a lot of us don't want to do that, and it's going to cost you. And it's like a weird part in society where you see people aging very gracefully, and you can see the difference between people who eat well and work out and take care of their body to people who don't eat well and don't take care of their body, and they may work out from time to time. And it's vast. And this weekend I wind up, my mother came to town, and my mother and my stepfather came to town, and they wanted some barbecue. And I was literally on the couch for 2 days because of how heavy it was. The barbecue was dope though. I ain't gonna front. Barbecue Chicago barbecue, got them rib tips, got some wings with it. But that meat had me like, I was falling asleep everywhere. And I thought about it in the sense of, this is why a bunch of other people are always tired and sluggish, because this is how you eat on a regular basis and you're not active. So the thing is, you got to get active, because if you don't, I can see where that's going to lead to. I can see how that just sits in your body, on your body. And I was looking at a clip, I didn't see the whole thing, with Boyce Watkins talking about how pastors are advising their congregation to get the vaccine, but the vast majority of their congregation and the vast majority of pastors are obese, overweight. So you worried about their health, but Fish Plate Sunday is still in effect, right? Macaroni and cheese is still in effect. It's like, you don't really care about health like that, because Jesus was in shape. I know people don't want to hear that, but he was. He walked everywhere he had to go. But if you don't get active, and it's the same thing if you don't work out and you don't have like a hobby or a side hustle or something that keeps you busy, because it's just going to work and going home thing, it's gonna kill you. I was at work years ago. It was an older Mexican guy, real cool dude. He was a sheriff. He was trying to retire. He was about to retire. And he says, and I was like, why don't you just, if you got the time, why don't you just retire now? He's like, no, because most of my friends, they're dead because They just retired and went straight from working all the time and straight retirement. And then when they sat down, their body just stopped. So he literally, which was a smart, dope thing. He started going from like 6 days to 5 days, 5 days to 4 days, 4 days to 3 days, 3 days to 2 days, 2 days to 1 day, working a week. And he got himself into that. And then when he got down to the 1 day, he was like, okay, now I'm ready. And that took him maybe close to a year. And I realized, you know, my great aunt, she died last year because of COVID, actually. She said that about her friends too, because she stayed swimming and walking, and so she lived in her late 90s. And she was like, you know, my friends wanted to be old, so they sat down and got in rocking chairs and became old and just and looked at the sun, and then they just died off. She was like, I didn't want to do that. And that was that made me think about being active. And I'm watching people, you know, who are athletic and they're aging gracefully, and they're in their 40s, they're in their 50s, they're in their 60s, and you're looking at them like, okay, as long as you keep in relatively good shape, this is what it's going to be. And you start asking the question, if they're aging like this when they're taking care of themselves, then how long are they actually going to live? Because, you know, the 60s, 70s, and 80s might stretch out a little bit further than we thought if you active. So my personal thing is, you know, you should get active. You should get active. You should move around. And I'm not talking gangbang, but get active, you know, so you can play with your kids and play with your grandkids one day, and hopefully play with your great grandkids. But like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Peace.